Breaking news. Well, not really breaking anymore, but in case you've been living under a rock, Joe Biden has withdrawn his intentions for reelection in this upcoming presidential race in November. And it has left the Democratic Party not necessarily scared because, let's be honest, they were trying to push his ass out. But at the time of this recording, Kamala Harris is officially the Democratic nominee for the President of the United States. She'll be going up against Donald Trump, who continues to do what damn Donald Trump does. If you like what you hear, why not take the time, press the like button, subscribe to the channel. All that's below. So hopefully you like what you hear. Hopefully you can kind of spread some cheer. I'm Ernest James. Didn't introduce myself. I'm Ernest James. I talk sports, I talk politics, I talk life. You just say I talk a lot of shit. And I'm going to be talking about the news that dropped on Sunday, July 23rd, right before 1 o'clock, quarter to 1 Chicago time. So, not so devastating news with Joe Biden withdrawing his name or pulling his name from the presidential race. Anyone who watched the debate a little more than 3 weeks ago, a lot of people saw a gentleman who was trying hard, trying his best. Don't mind me fixing my cap, and don't be alarmed about the fact that I'm wearing sports stuff because people who watch sports get into sports. They get into all types of stuff too. It's not always just people who are wearing shirts and ties and all that stuff. It's everyday folk, barbershop shit. So don't be alarmed. Let's just get informed. But yeah, back to what I was talking. People who watched the debate saw Joe Biden stumbling with his words. It looked like to me, looks like he was thinking a little bit too hard, and he just had those moments where, when I was watching the debate, I first thing came to my mind was, "Oh shit, it's happening." He's having this moment at this time, and the fact that he's having this moment at this time, this very time, and there's already been calls of his age, as if the other guy isn't old as fuck too, and doesn't have delusions of grandeur, which is another sign of old age. You have older uncles or the granddad or the great uncle. They'll say, "Well, I did this and I did that," and it's tall tales and things like that. It's Donald Trump. That's Donald Trump. That's the Republican representation for the presidential race in November. So it's the same thing. But there were calls for Joe Biden to step down because of his age. And I don't want to see a president in office dying while in office in my lifetime, but I wasn't one of the people who were calling him to step down. I know that he's up there in age. With age comes wisdom, knowledge, and how the world needs to be handled. But for me, when I saw the debate, I saw a man who was struggling to formulate his words. His thoughts were there. If you watched it intently, you can see he intended on saying a lot of different things, but those words were not forming the way that they needed to. And he stumbled. And if you are regular to politics, you know that Joe Biden has had issues with his speech over the years. So it's nothing new. It's just at this moment when people are questioning how old he is and questioning whether or not he should even be running again. It was honest to goodness, it was a bad look, and I don't I never would have imagined that we would have been here less than 4 weeks later. I thought that he was gonna keep on keeping on, but last week he had contracted COVID, and sometimes when you have life altering things, potentially at his age of 81. You have life altering things. It forces you to make decisions. You have to start thinking about how do you want to live the rest of your life. And I take my hat off to Biden for thinking about not only the rest of his life, but also the state of the country. Because right now we're in this transition. Seems like we've been in this transition for at least 2 decades now, where nothing's getting done. Either one side has the presidency and either the House or the Senate, or then it goes to the other side, and it's always something. It's always something, and we just don't get stuff done, not like it needs to be. And for a country like ours, I think that we need something better. We deserve something better as citizens, and hopefully it happens with Kamala. Hopefully people actually go to the polls with Kamala, because I know that there's the stigma going on where people aren't saying it out loud, but they're suggesting that she's not ready, that she's not fit for the office right now. And these are some of the same people who are watching Joe as if to say, well, he's too old, he can't be doing it. But if you look at what Biden has accomplished, all these different things, the price of insulin, the unemployment rate, getting funding for all these different things, helping get states across the line when it comes to a livable wage, stuff like that. He's accomplished more things in his 3.5 years in office than most presidents have in their 8 years in office, or however long they've been in office. And that cannot be dismissed. I don't care what anyone says. Can't overlook that. So if you are on board with what Biden has done, and you think that Biden, with his cognitive abilities, he's struggling, well, who do you think is running the country? If Biden's not doing it, or some people don't think Biden was fit to do it, then obviously somebody had to be calling the shots and coming up with the rules and how to play the game and how to get some things and pieces in place, right? You know, obviously it would be Kamala, because it damn sure wasn't Donald Trump. Only thing Trump did was reverse the things that Barack Obama had done prior to him. And when you reverse everything and you try to take everybody back, which is what Trump has wanted to do, make America great again. It's in his fucking slogan, make America great again. You're how, as a black man in America, how are you making America great again for me? Like it was being honest. It was never fucking great for me. You know, I'm speaking for me, and I can speak for others. Many others would probably say the same thing. So that's not where we need to go. Backwards is not where we need to go. The coal mining jobs, yeah, that shit's for West Virginia and a little bit of South Carolina and maybe another state thrown in. But what about the Delawares, the New Yorks? Fuck, what about the Floridas, the Texas, the Californians, all those other states where it's not coal mining? We're in the tech savvy world. We're in this day and age. We're not trying to go back to mining coal. We don't want many people, if you take the time to listen to what Donald J. Trump is saying, if you can actually make some of that stuff out, because the motherfucker talks a little bit incoherently. He's like the older uncle that the delusions of grandeur, they're there. They're there. Just take the time, and if you can find three sentences that all make sense, three that all make sense, I'll call you a hero. But we want to go back to what versus pushing the nation forward. the forward thinking people. We have to put America in the hands of the youth, my kids. I'm in my late 40s. It's in my kids' hands now. They're the future. We have to put them in a place where they can take over and do amazing things. And Donald Trump's not going to do that. And if the Democrats weren't careful, because they pretty much chased Joe out of office after a while, like so many calls of him being too old, he needs to step down, he needs to step away. So many calls, so many prominent Democrats were just like, hey, get this guy the hell up out of here. Where's Sandman Sims? That could have handed the election over to Trump, and it would have took us back, and it could have been far, far worse. But now, there's a little bit of hope. And I know what some people are saying. I'm sure if I talk to some of my brothers right now about Kamala, they'll probably be like, well, Trump did, we did get money under Trump. Yeah, what'd you get? Pennies on the dollar? Truthfully, you had to wait weeks in order to get a stimulus check because the dude wanted to sign his name on the check. He wanted to make sure that the checks were signed. Money that any president probably would have given you. I mean, hell, George Bush did that, and nobody decided to be like, "Oh, hell to George Bush. We're gonna bring him here for another term." Nobody did that. I don't understand the love for a narcissistic lunatic. I don't. I just don't. But the Democrats were playing this game of chicken with Biden, where it almost landed right back into the hands of Trump. And now, with the news that Biden is out and Kamala is in, and again, she's official. By the time you watch this, or at the time of this recording, she's officially the nominee, with all the delegates going her way, or the majority of the delegates going her way, and the many endorsements that she's had thus far. Still waiting on Bill Violence to endorse. I think that there are some different things going on there legally that they may not be able to openly endorse her right away. I'm not 100% sure. But now the playing field is different. And now we get to watch and see Trump do all these different things and act like a fool. Like the motherfucker was social media like a madman. Social media isn't a word, but you get my drift. He was posting on Truth Social like a madman. He is who he has always been. The same dude that preached loyalty, unity, is the same one that wants to divide us. And we would have thought that he would have learned something, had some grace with his having survived an assassination attempt. You would think that he would have learned something. He would have been thankful. He would have had a come to Jesus moment. Something. Nah, wasn't that. And instead of focusing on Biden's age, the Democrats could have focused on so where's the medical records for Trump's injury? How's Trump doing? He survived something horrific. Most people who survived that, they're not the same. They're not pumping their fist in the air like they don't care. They're not doing that. Just questions. Just thoughts. Things that I want to bounce off everybody before I go. If you like what you heard, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. There'll be more. It'll be more frequent. I want to thank you all for listening. I like to leave on a cliffhanger. That's just my style. I'm Ernest James. Thank you very much. Come again.